Here are 5 Stoic truths about pain that you're not ready to hear. Welcome to the channel. The first one is, you will suffer. Choose what for. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius says, "What does not benefit the hive does not benefit the bee." This quote has been interpreted in many ways, but one of my favorite interpretations is that if it's not good for the whole, it's not good for its parts. The whole of your life is made up of the parts of your days. And if your days are filled with things that don't benefit the whole of your life, then your life will not be good. One of the things that we have to learn from the Stoics is how to ask the right questions about our life. Epicurus asks us to ask, what kind of person do I want to be? What do I want to contribute to the world? What do I want to be known for? And then he says, well, once you know that, you should choose the things that lead you to that kind of person. So much of what we do in life is habitual or automatic or just because it's there. We see an email and we open it immediately. We check our phone when it dings, even though we know that it's probably nothing important. We say yes to things because we don't want to disappoint people. But this leads us to a life of regret and resentment and bitterness. So Epictetus says, don't just do anything. Ask yourself, is this helping me become the kind of person I want to be? Is this helping me move towards my goal? Or am I just distracted by this thing that I am doing? When you start to think about your life in terms of contribution, your life has more meaning. You start to see that everything you do matters. And when you start to see that everything you do matters, then you start to understand that everything you do should have a purpose. Even suffering should have a purpose. You might be thinking, well, why would you ever say that? Suffering is bad. Well, it is bad. But what Epictetus is getting at here is that you can choose how you respond to things. You can choose how you think about things. If you choose to think about them in the right way, then you can make them beneficial to you. He says, there is no such thing as a bad experience, only a bad interpretation of a good experience. There is no such thing as a bad event, only a bad interpretation of a good event. When you're faced with the possibility of suffering, you have 2 choices. You can either embrace it and make it part of your journey, or reject it and let it defeat you. Which one will you choose? Number 2, don't waste pain, use it. Seneca says, it is not that life is short, it is that we waste a lot of it. And it is the same thing with pain. Most of the pain we experience, we bring on ourselves. We hold on to grudges. We dwell in the past. We worry about the future. We eat too much, or we don't exercise. And all of this causes us pain down the road. So instead of wasting pain, the Stoics would say we should use it. How do we use pain? We use it to fuel our growth. We use it to motivate us. Use it to make us better. Number 3, our wounds are where we grow. Our scars are not evidence of our past. They're evidence of our survival. When you get a scar, you've experienced trauma. You've had a wound. You've overcome it. And now you have a reminder of that on your body. It's the same thing with our minds. We go through things in life that hurt us, that cause us pain. And if we don't deal with that pain, if we don't use that pain becomes a wound that festers and it causes us more pain. But if we confront that pain, if we learn from that pain, then the pain goes away and we are left with the wisdom that comes from having experienced that pain. That's why the Stoics say that we should embrace pain, not avoid it. When you embrace pain, you learn. When you avoid pain, you stay the same. Number 4, pain makes you honest. One of the things that I've noticed about myself is that when I'm comfortable, when I'm happy, when I'm enjoying myself, it's easy to be dishonest, to tell little white lies, to not rock the boat. But when I'm uncomfortable, when I'm experiencing pain, it's very hard to lie. In fact, it seems almost cruel to lie in those situations. And this is what the Stoics mean when they say that pain makes you honest. When you are in pain, it strips away all of the bullshit. It strips away all of the things that we normally rely on to get by. It strips away all of the things that we normally rely on to get ahead. When you're in pain, there's nowhere to hide. And it's in those moments of honesty, according to the Stoics, that we find freedom. And number 5, you are not alone. The Stoics believed that everything was interconnected. Marcus Aurelius says in Meditations that we're all like leaves on a tree. We're all connected. Nothing happens in isolation. When you're going through a hard time, the Stoics would remind you of this. They would say, hey, remember, you're not alone. Everything is connected. You're part of something bigger than yourself. And this gives us hope, because if everything is connected, If we're all in this together, then we can get through anything. So those are 5 truths about pain that you're not ready to hear. The Stoics believed that pain was an important part of the human experience. They believed that we could choose how we responded to pain. They believed that pain could make us better people. And they believed that we were never alone in our suffering. If you want to learn more about the Stoics, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our videos. Thanks for watching.